All right, so good morning, everyone. Once again, it's Gordon here. Welcome to another episode of Land for Success. Before we get started, once again, I just want to remind everyone here at Land for Success, we believe that everyone has a story, and we would love to be able to help you craft your story, share your story, tell your story, and use your story to create more influence and then the income and the impact. So, just a quick reminder that Land for Success, Untold Stories, Volume 3 is now available for purchase on Amazon. 1, 2, and 3 are all available. And by the way, the stories in here are so incredible, men and women from every walk of life. That you're going to be able to meet and hear their inspiring stories. One of the individuals on here, before we actually get to our speaker today, Mr. Raza Aziz. Before we do that, I wanted to share just a quick story from here. Daniel, at age 15, he thought that hurt people. So he was being hurt all the time, bullied. So he thought his fist was the answer to all his problems. And then he ended up in juvie, and that was his wake up call. And so, fast forward to today, Daniel has never lost a fight in the MMA. He won. If you're a professional wrestling fan, my kids laugh at me because I grew up watching wrestling. They say, "Dad, don't you know it's fake?" But Daniel won WWE's Tough Enough $1 million prize. Can you imagine? So, without telling too much about his story, today he has started schools, private schools across America, where somebody interviewed him and said, some of the kids are in this school. If it wasn't for Daniel, they'd probably be dead on the side of the road or the ditch, or maybe selling drugs somewhere. So we have some amazing individuals in our Land for Success community that are sharing their story in print. And some of them are sharing their stories or want to share their stories on stage. So I can't think of a better person than the individual I'm going to introduce to you. Mr. Raza Aziz is someone who started out in his career not long ago. Before he did that, he was driving an Uber. And so fast forward to today, he is sharing international stages with folks like the Tony Robbins. I mean, the best of the best, the Tony Robbins, the Les Browns, the Harv Ekers, all around the world, and showing our members at Land for Success and his clients how to start from scratch. Even if you have no experience, you're scared to speak in public, he will show you step by step, word for word, script for script, how you can start a profitable career in speaking. So please help me to welcome my good friend, Mr. Raza Aziz.
Awesome, Gordon. It's so funny. I didn't realize I was already on the show. I was trying to broadcast to my audience on my social media stuff. But it's really good to be back over here. And oh my gosh, Gordon, this Saturday, finally, it's here.
Yes.
We've been talking about it for so long. Hey, if you notice, I'm in a different setting today. I've got a bit of a whiteboard behind me. I kind of moved out of my office, and and today is going to be exciting because, Gordon, we've been doing these sessions over the past, 3 weeks or so.
Yes.
This one is the fourth one. And a lot of people are asking, is like, okay, yeah, speaking is great. I can do that and everything. There are a couple of Landed for Success speakers that I have been working with as well. Some of them will be speaking this Saturday as well. And people always ask about, okay, so I get it. You get to be in front of an audience. They see you as an authority, but how do the numbers make sense? So that is why I have a marker in my hand. I've got a flip chart behind me because today we're going to dive into numbers, right? Because the thing is, if we're talking about professional speaking,
I am ready. I'm ready to take notes.
Let's do it. See, the thing is, if we're talking about speaking as a marketing strategy, and let me remind you, this is not just reserved for a specific group of people. This is for entrepreneurs who want to build their influence, who want to generate more leads, who want to land more of their dream clients, who want to be seen as an authority in their space. Not only that, I was speaking to a gentleman a couple of days ago, And I was saying to him, and he does great business in his business. He's got, systems in place and everything. And one of the things that he said to me is like, Raza, I'm spending like almost 10 to 12 hours a day doing the kind of business that I do. And that's where I started having a conversation with him, is that why don't we look at having you become efficient with your efforts so that you can start scaling those hours back and start working one to many. And that's where this speaking comes into place. And let me remind you as well, we talked about this in the previous sessions, that speaking is not just about being on stage in front of a big, huge audience, live audience. Speaking is about speaking on social media. Speaking is about doing sessions like webinars and workshops online. Since 2020, a lot of people had shifted to doing that. I did that majority of the 2020 and 2021, and prior to that was all live speaking. And now I'm in the hybrid mode now. And I love doing these sessions. I call it these live podcasts with Gordon, to share ideas and to empower action in your business. So, shall we dive right in? Hey, listen, if you are here, let me know. I've got the chat open right here on. Actually, no, I don't. There we go. So now I do have it open. So say hello if you are here, if you have been attending sessions and you're getting a lot of value. And if you have any questions on the numbers that I'm going to be talking about, bring those on, right? And Gordon, you can let me know if there are any questions as well. I would love to address them as we go.
Absolutely. And, Ras, I'm so excited that Dr. Dana Austin is here as well from Atlanta, Georgia. She is a Land for Success member. She is the president of the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. And I know she's been looking forward to some of our speakers coming to Atlanta. And definitely you are someone that I know our co-founder, JJ Icantha, will be highly recommending to Dana for you to be able to go to Atlanta.
Oh yeah,
and
let's do it.
help so many amazing business owners, entrepreneurs, with their brand, their marketing, their speaking, and so on. So Dana, thank you for being here.
Yeah, that's awesome, Dana. Glad you're here. So, Gordon, shall we dive right in?
Let's dive in.
Okay, so let's talk about the business of speaking, right? So now let me give you a bit of an example on when I started, and then I'll see if I can try to take different scenarios and kind of create a picture for you where you could potentially start seeing how speaking can serve as a marketing strategy within your business, and how you can use it to build your authority in your niche, scale back your time a little bit, be efficient with your work. And all that starts with the idea that you want to incorporate speaking into your business. Okay. So now let me take you back into when I first started speaking. Okay. So I remember I did a free event right here in my local city over here. I live in Markham, Greater Toronto area. So there's Richmond Hill right beside us. That is where there was a restaurant over there, and restaurant had like a bit of kind of like a banquet hall kind of thing. It could easily accommodate about, I'm going to say about, 50, 60 people, like snug in there. And I made an arrangement with them, and I said to them, I said, hey, listen, this is the first time I'm doing it. I'd love to promote your restaurant, all that stuff and everything. They said, listen, we're not going to charge you for the banquet hall, but as long as your people order food, and this is the minimum that we're looking for, your room is free. I'm like, bonus. I will make sure that I feed everybody. Tell everybody to eat. So that was a talk that I did there. The talk was about 60 to 70-minute talk. And at the end of that talk, I sold a $97 ticket. Now you might be like, oh boy, nobody's getting rich off $97. Okay. So that was something that that I was selling. And this $97 ticket was to invite people, because people were just there in the room with me, learning about elevating their performance as entrepreneurs, being efficient with their time, how to become how to clear their mind, how to build routines so that they can show up, they can generate more business, they can be efficient in generating the business that. So my community was entrepreneurs over there. Now I was selling a $97 ticket, and $97 ticket was going towards a 1 full day event. So that was going to be a live event. Okay, so I'm just showing you an example, and just so that you can see how the numbers panned out. So just for calculation's sake, because I want to try to do this without the calculator, I'm just going to say that it was, $100 ticket. Okay. Hope you're okay with that. So I'm selling $100 ticket. Now check this out. In the group there, this is my first live talk with an audience. I think there were about 46 people in the room. Okay, so 46 people attended, and these are entrepreneurs, and they are coming there to learn from me. And I did a 1 hour talk. I talked about my upcoming book as well, gave them a lot of value, gave them ideas, had them mingle, all of that stuff. Everything that I talk about, and how do you craft your talk? What are the segments of the talk? Because remember, you don't want to just show up in front of an audience and just start blabbing. Every talk has to have a structure. What needs to happen first, what needs to happen second, third, fourth, where the stories come in, where does the joke come in, and then ultimately there's a call to action. So my call to action to these people was like, listen, if you've enjoyed this hour, come spend an entire day with me. And all I'm asking you is like, let's just do $100. It's generally a $250 workshop, but I'm going to give it to you for $100. It just covers the cost of the hotel, all of that stuff. Come on down. Now check this out. Out of the 46 people, right? This was not like a very elaborate group. So this was just 46 people. Out of the 46 people, 12 took me up on my offer. Remember, this was my first ever deal. 12 people said, we'll pay you $100. Okay. So what does that turn out to be? So 12 times 100 equals $1,200. Right? I think my math was right. So I showed up for an hour. I didn't pay anything for the room. I showed up for an hour. There were 46 people in the room. 12 people decided to give me $100, and I got $1,200. Nobody's getting rich. Hang out. Hang on. All right. Now, based on this, I was like, oh, this kind of worked out. And then there was a gentleman in the room. His name is Bob. Bob said to me, Raza, I'm going to a networking event in a week's time. Your event is about a month away. Would you mind speaking at that event if I can organize it for you? I said, yeah, sure. And so Bob connected with another events organizer. He said, hey, Raza did a great talk. I was part of it. And if we bring him to your audience, I think it will be great. We went back and forth for about a week or so. And then I ended up speaking about, I think it was about 3 weeks later, I ended up speaking at another audience. And this audience had about 80 people. So this was my talk. And from here, I went and spoke to an audience of 80 people. Do you know what talk I did there? The same talk that I did here. Nothing had to be, did it cost me anything? No, it didn't, because I just basically showed up. There was an audience over there because Bob, who was one of the 46 people, connected me with somebody, and they're like, yeah, we would love to have you come speak. So 80 people were over there. And from here, again, this is my beginnings. I'm sharing with you. From here, another like 12, it was like 13, 14. It was around the same thing. I think it was like about 13 people decided to take me up on my $100 offer. Okay. So now 13 people paying me $100 is $1,300. Before even my 1 day workshop took place, I have so far, what is this? $2,500, right? So this plus this, we have $2,500 that are in the bank before I did my 1 day live event. Now, out of these what was it, 25 people who bought the ticket. 20 actually showed up at the event. Hopefully you can still see it. Yeah, I'm getting down over here. So 20 people showed up at this event. Now, let me just go to another page because I don't want to go to the bottom over here. Gordon, you can still see everything. Everything is good. I just want
Yep,
to make sure that,
perfect.
yeah, okay,
Yes.
perfect. So I'm walking you through my first scenario because I want to show you. And by the way, these numbers are not the best, huh? From 80 people selling 13 people, this was actually better. This was pretty good. But 80 people, I would like to, get a little bit better over here. But even with the basic numbers, you can see what's really going on. All it is because I have that one talk ready. I have my slides ready. I have my talk ready. I know how to deliver that talk. And then boom, this was my audience. And then from here, I went into this one. Now, I was totally excited that 25 people are coming, but anyways, 20 people showed up. So when 20 people showed up in this room, I did my full day workshop. This was the first ever time I was delivering my full day workshop, and I was so excited. I was giving complete value. I had sheets, I had worksheets, I was bringing out everything that I had. And here I said to the people, the 20 people that attended, by the end of the day, I told them, I said, listen, I have my one-on-one coaching program that if you want to take all of these concepts that I talked about and you want me to help you implement those into your business, into your life, then you can come and work with me. I have a package, right? At that time, it was $2,500 for 3 months of one-on-one work that I would do. Right? So that was $2,500, right? And I would work with them for 3 months. And this was a structured program. And that's what it was. Now, 20 people. Want to take a guess? Let's just see in the comments if people can take a guess. How many people actually took me up on the $2,500 offer? Any takers, Gordon? How many people do you think took me up from 20 people? I spent an entire day with them. And at the end, I said, if you want to work with me one-on-one, I have a 3-month program that I'm going to work with you. And we're going to have a great time. We're going to help you implement all these concepts customized to your business, to your life. Any takers?
My lucky guess is 20.
That would be awesome.
No,
that would be
awesome.
So good, right? Like 100% of the room took me up on it. No,
Yeah.
Gordon, this was my first ever event, and 2 people took me up on this offer, right? From those 20. So 2 times we got 2,500 here. We've got 5,000. This all stemmed from 2 talks and ultimately here. And these 2 clients worked with me for 3 months. It was really great. I didn't have anything else after that. But if you really start looking at the numbers, first event generated 1,200, second event generated, what was it, 1,300, right? And I'm not taking into account any of the expenses and all of that stuff. This room that I brought the 20 people in was minimal. I think I paid like $50 for that room. And then plus the 5,000, right? So let's do the math here. 5, I'm going to take the calculator. 5,000, 1,200, 1,300. So here you go. This is the result. And even if you say that, let's just say that we spent 20% of that in expenses, so that would be minus $1,500. You're left with $6K. Who here would be okay with that? Right? I know, Gordon, you would be. But this is and I'm sharing this with you because this was at a very low scale and this was very local. A lot of people sometimes think that they have to, if they're building a speaking business like, Tony Robbins, they have to rent an entire bus and travel across the country and all of that stuff. Like, that's not what we're talking about. This is my backyard, right? And this is how you too can do it. If we go back to what we were talking about, whew, don't drop. If we were to go back over here, these 46 people were the people that I knew. This is my, people that my uncle, my mom, my dad, the professional network, the mortgage brokers that I had dealt with, the realtors that I had dealt with in the past, financial planner, accountants. Like, I mean, I had invited everybody in. I even invited my doctor. He didn't come, but I invited him, right? And I was just saying, I'm like, hey, this is the first time I'm doing it. I'm going to be talking about my upcoming book and everything like that. So I started doing, this is how it all started. Now, let me give you a bigger scale from this, okay? Let's look at it. A lot of times people are like, okay, Raza, you know what? I'm in real estate and I don't have like $100 offer for them. Well, you don't have it right now, but the smart realtors who are incorporating this kind of strategy, they create something. I know of a realtor in Hawaii, okay? And what he does is he's focusing, check this out, this is so brilliant, Gordon. This agent in Hawaii, what he did is he created a $250 course, okay? And in this course, now what is this course for? He realized that there was pocket of I think veteran, like retired, Army folks who would come to Hawaii, and whenever they would do research, a lot of people didn't know the kind of things that were available for this audience in Hawaii. So what he did, he became an expert in that niche, and he decided to study that niche, point out all the resources, every single thing, and he compiled it all, packed it all into like this $250 course. And guess what he does? Whenever he speaks to an audience, whenever he goes and speaks to, and he knows his audience is going to be there, that course is full with resources in Hawaii, where they are. He's collected all of it in one place. And he's also brought in experts in Hawaii who can help people establish themselves in Hawaii. So what are the resources? Who are the people that you want to get in touch with? And they're all part of the course. And all it is $250, right? So he made it easy for people. So whenever he does a talk, he sells the $250 course. These people are his leads.
Wow.
Who have already paid him. Now check this out. Not only that, he took it to the next level. He actually uses Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn to advertise.
Wow.
And does a webinar. So it's the same talk that he does live. He does a webinar and he sells that $250 course. He's getting paid to generate leads.
Wow.
Right. And that's like, you want to start thinking creatively. And this is why I say, and even if as a realtor or as somebody who doesn't have a front end offer, check this out. Let's look at it. Gordon, we still have time. I just want to go through a quick example.
Absolutely. Yes, please. Yes,
so,
thank you.
And by the way, you're seeing preview of some of the content that I'll be talking about at a bigger length on at the Business Expo on Saturday. So let's just say we're talking about real estate, okay? Real estate, let's just say that you don't have any front-end product. Now, I know Gordon is a huge fan of this, but let's just say that you do a talk and I help you craft this talk. It's going to be a very strategic talk. And you talk about, 8 things that you want to learn about Toronto and why Toronto is the best investment place, for example, right? Like I'm just saying. So you do this talk, and this talk is, let's say, 30 to 45 minutes. And at the end of it, you don't sell anything, right? There's no course. Because why? Is because you know that when you generate a lead, that lead could turn into a listing. It could turn into a client, right? Like all of that stuff. So you want, and if you're looking at average price here in the GTA area, in the Toronto area, I mean, I don't know, like the jury might be out on this, but let's just say it's 800,000, right? Uh, I think that's at the low
Mm.
end. That's at the low end,
I,
right?
I wish, Travis. I think
Yeah,
that it's probably over $1 million now, right?
I
Average price
know.
of a
The other
home. Yeah.
day, Gordon, we were at that success talk, right? Like the youth talk competition, and it was in
Yes.
such an amazing place in Mississauga, and there was a
Yeah.
house for sale, right? Like down the street.
Yes.
And I remember I passed by it. It was a beautiful house. I'm like, you know what? This is probably 2.5 million. So I quickly
Yes.
looked it up. It was like 4.5 million. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah. Can you imagine the commission on that, right? Like I'm just thinking out
Woo.
loud from Rasa. Someone, if I'm a realtor and I learn from you how to do the talks that you just mentioned, and one person buys that $4.5 million home for me at 2.5 points, what is that? It's over 100 grand. Like one
Yeah.
sale,
Yeah.
100,000. Anyways, I'm gonna pass it back to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I'm working the numbers over here. I'm like, well, maybe I need to go in that profession.
Yeah.
So that, let's just say an average price we're doing 800, and you get 2.5 commission. That's a 20K deal for you, right? So one client, let's say, is worth 20K for you, right? At the low end. So you're doing a talk. And based on the talk, I show you how you capture leads, because it's a very strategic way to do it. That almost 80 to 95% of the room can become part of your database. I'll show you that. I'm going to talk about that at the event. Now, these people are part of your database. A lot of you, I know in real estate, you purchase a lot of leads and all of that stuff. You go door knocking, you go cold calling, all of that stuff. Now, I just put you in front of a room and have 80 to 95% of the people, they didn't buy anything from you, but strategically, I'm going to talk about this, they become part of your database. Now, from this room, and let's just say we'll take a small room, right? So let's just say we got a room of about 50 people. You only spoke once in a month, which I don't advise, by the way. You have 50 people over here. So out of the 50 people, if let's just say we take 80% of that, 40 people are now part of your database that your CRMs can now start marketing to them, building relationships, inviting them to future events, whatever deals you got. But there are a few people that at the end of your talk, you say that, listen, if you're in the market to buy a house, or if you're in the market to sell a house, and you're wanting to do this, and we'll work with you on that, that come schedule a call with me, right? And you invite them to schedule like a 30-minute, investment strategy call or whatever. You give it a sizzling name. And out of this room, out of this 50 people, let's just say 15% of them actually schedule a call. So that's 7.5 people. So I'd say 8 people scheduled a call with you. And from those 8 people, let's just say one person ended up buying or selling a house with you, and that generated you 20K. And by the way, I'm not saying that, those 40 people, because we know not everybody is ready to buy or sell immediately, but maybe from these 40 people, you're looking at 6 months down the road, 7 months down the road, maybe 2 or 3 people are actually ready because they're constantly seeing you in that space. They remember you. Out of all the realtors that they know, that you were the one on stage, that you were the one who shared perspectives with them that they hadn't thought about. As an investor myself, as a person who plays the real estate game, my wife and I, whenever realtors position themselves and they empower us with knowledge and perspectives that we have not thought about before, that helps build their credibility. And you have an opportunity that if you can simply craft out this talk, which I can help you with, and generate not only just leads for yourself, but also conversations and people who get on the phone with you, is like, come to our house and talk to us about this, then you can absolutely change the game. And this is just an example for somebody who may not have a front end offer, and your front end offer is simply, let's book a call and we'll talk more, right? So, and by the way, the conversion from you speaking for 30 to 45 minutes to booking a call to actually generating business is much higher than somebody just randomly booking a call without seeing you speak, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's very strategic. Does this make sense,
Yeah,
Gordon?
yeah, and Dana, thank you, Dr. Dana Austin from Atlantis is enjoying the call. We have somebody from Japan. I love real estate, as you know. I mean, real estate, right? And as you were talking about agents crafting talks, I'm thinking, financial planners,
Hmm.
people in the
Oh
insurance
yeah.
business, network marketers, anybody who needs to speak. But if you're a realtor, you guys come and meet Raza in person this coming Saturday. I have had about half a dozen clients myself that I've worked with in the past from speaking to first time homebuyer workshops that have generated hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in commission.
Hmm.
One of them, right here in Toronto, they did over $1.6 billion in sales.
Wow,
Can you imagine?
that's
And
awesome.
so, back then we winged it. We were like the wingman. So you can imagine if you could actually learn specific systems from Raza on actually how to craft your talk. Wow, I'm pumped and excited. I know I'm going to be sitting in the VIP section, front row, taking notes from you on Saturday.
Yeah.
Back to you, Raza.
Yeah, and I just basically shared with you some numbers. Now, this thing can scale. I mean, I've been blessed and privileged to have represented many amazing brands and products and offers on stages across the world. Um, and these things can get like pretty good. Like, I mean, I remember, um, I think I flew down to Houston, and I was invited to speak over there to an audience of coaches. And over there, I did not represent my offer. I was representing one of my mentors' offers. And I did a 60-minute talk there. And at the end of the 60 minutes, we sold a ticket to an event. That too was an event. Sometimes you can sell a ticket to a particular product or offer, and where people can get a course and learn more, all that stuff. Because remember, in 30, 45, 60 minutes, people can't learn everything. And those who are intrigued by that talk, they want to come a little closer with you. Some of them want to learn more. Some of them want to work with you and be able to implement the ideas that you talked about. And you want to give those people an opportunity to work closer with you. So I went to Houston. There were about like 150 or so people in the room. Did a 1 hour talk. This was possibly the best closing that I did at the front end, which was 52%. We closed 52% of the room on a $100 ticket. At that time, that was an event as well. So 150 people. And 75 people ended up buying a ticket. So 75 people, right, bought $100 ticket. So that is $7,500. Okay. So this was in Houston. And then basically here I sold a 2.5-day workshop. So it was a 2.5-day workshop, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so 3-4 weeks later, when I went back to Houston, we did a 2.5-day event. And at this event, we sold a 30K offer, right? So this was for, people who were business owners and people who had existing businesses and they wanted to amplify their profile, all of that stuff. There was a whole bunch of things in there. So it was a 30K offer because the ROI on that was really great. Now, from these 75 people, I think there were 50 people in the room. And from these 50 people, 7 ended up buying this 30K offer. So that turned out to be 210K in 2.5 days. Right now, I wish I could say I pocketed that 210 for me, but remember, this was not my offer, right?
Mm.
So I had a cut in this entire thing. So I worked on commissions with this. Now check this out. My commissions on this thing, 10%, you can see 210, oh, not 21,000, 210,000 times 10%. This turned out to be a 21K payday for me.
That's incredible. And it's legal?
Right? And it's legal.
That's like printing money. That's crazy.
And that's what I'm saying. This is not even my offer, right? This is not even mine. And this is what happens when you start speaking, you become visible. A lot of times I always say entrepreneurs, the reason that they don't succeed is because they're not visible. They stay invisible. They show up at events and they just get a complimentary ticket and they hide in the background. And that's why I encourage people to get a VIP ticket so that you're visible. You're in the crowd where there's few people. So you can make those important connections, all of that stuff. Remember, with this thing I repeat over and over again, best known beats best product. Right? Best known beats best product. Become known within the community that you are going to generate business in. This is why I encourage people to be part of books and write your book and amplify your brand. Why? So that you can increase your visibility. That is why I encourage people to do their talks so that you can increase your visibility. The only reason I landed up, kind of speaking on behalf of this offer is because I became visible. That's it. Were there better speakers than me and people who had more experience and had been speaking a lot longer than? Absolutely. But I became visible to this person here and got an opportunity to not only just do this in Houston, but do this in Houston, Texas, but Arizona, California, like Florida, all over Canada, Africa, Europe, Ireland, London, and same thing. And some rooms were a lot bigger. Over here, we only had 75 people bought this, and then I can't remember. Yeah, so 50 people were in this room. I've had rooms here in Toronto. I've spoken in rooms. There were 120 people in the room, right? 130 people in the room. How could things transform for you if you simply learn this skill? And what is this skill? Is crafting that talk, that 60-minute talk at the front, 30 to 60 minutes at the front end, and then building out a plan. And I don't want you to figure this out by yourself. You got people like Gordon, myself, who've been in this industry for a long time. And we can definitely, people help me out. I wasn't just born with all this information. This is something that I learned from my mentors. This is something that I lived it. This is something that I instituted in my life. And of course, on Saturday, the 23rd, I'll be sharing with you a little bit more about, how things transpired. Where did I start from? Was I always speaking? No, I wasn't always speaking. It was somebody sparked an idea. Same way I'm sparking an idea for you right now. Somebody sparked an idea and I'm like, I wonder if I can do that, right? And that wonder turned into, over the years, that I'm here sharing the same idea with you now. So back to you, Gordon. If there are any questions, we can, of course, answer those.
Wow.
But I hope this was of value.
That's incredible. It's tremendous value. And I want to thank all the folks that are here watching from here at home in Toronto. Somebody asked where you were. We're here in Toronto. We got folks from all around the world. As I was listening to you, I'm thinking, you were talking about real estate. I love real estate. Everyone can relate to whatever industry they have. And Dr. Dana Austin says scalability is vital. I've been limited in the past by not scaling. This is so invaluable. The talk you're doing Saturday, how can for someone who, let's say, who's not going to be able to be here if they're in Japan, how do you scale? Like, how did you scale your speaking? I know you kind of briefly, would you mind re-summarizing, like, how can I scale my speaking business?
Yeah. So one of the things that I talk about, and I'm going to talk about this on Saturday, is a lot of times, people always come up and say, "Hey, I'm a speaker, but I've got no business," right? So no, But for me, it just sounds like an oxymoron kind of thing. Like I'm a
Yeah.
speaker, but I got no business. Like, what do you mean? There's a part in there where I talk about booking gigs, getting gigs, and and I'll be talking about that particular piece. But for me, as far as scalability is concerned, was really about just connecting, making connections with people, and picking up the phone and say, "Hey, I was just speaking to Dr. Dana in Atlanta, and she referred me that I should speak to you. You guys have an event coming up, and this is how I can help the audience, how I can help your audience." I did that. This is how I landed some of the gigs here locally and in the United States as well. And once I knew my numbers, right? Once I knew my numbers locally, what I can do, I knew that if I have a room of 75 people, I'm going to sell this many. That means this is how much money I'm going to have at the front end. So does this cover my cost of flying out to a city? Yeah, it does, right? So now I know that, okay, this many people are going to show up at my backend event. What is my backend offer? And based on that, I would monetize this entire thing. You see, for me to go this blindly, I mean, yeah, I can end up, if I haven't honed my skills, if I haven't honed my talk, well, these numbers might not work out. That is why I always tell everybody that you want to make sure that you can do this locally, and then you can expand. Now, as far as, another aspect of scalability is really this. The simple strategy that I give every speaker is that you want to speak at least once a week, at least, right? At least once a week. And if you're speaking at least once a week, or let's just say, even if it's a crowd of 50 people, like imagine how long it would take for you to connect with individual 50 people throughout the week. But there are people, there are events, there are Chamber of Commerce, there's Rotary clubs, there's Lions Club, there's meetup events, you name it. Like, there are events going on in your local city right now. And if you simply spoke at one event and you did that 4 times a month, there's no reason why you could not be generating a business, that does 10, 15, 20K a month consistently. So it's efficient use of your time, and it helps you build your brand. And then you can bring that brand and scale it onto social media. You can use your talk and create web presentations. You can advertise your web presentations, get registrations. We can kind of go down the path. There's an entire business plan, whether you want to go online, offline, you want to create a hybrid of the entire thing. That is absolutely doable.
Wow, that's amazing. Amazing. We got somebody watching here from Malaysia as well. Do me a favor, if you guys are watching, type yes in the comment if what Raza just shared with you resonates with you, like 10, 15, 20,000 a month from speaking. I mean, maybe you guys are already making that already, right? But for some of you who are starting from scratch, want to scale your speaking business, your coaching business, whatever business, Raza just mentioned, you don't even need to speak to make money. You could be generating leads from speaking and making money.
Yeah.
Type yes in the comment if this is something that is appealing to you. And then this Saturday, you guys, come and meet Raza in person. I mean, I've taken so many notes already. I can't wait to learn more from Raza this Saturday in person, how to build a successful career in speaking.
Yes.
Now, before we wrap up, would you be okay if I actually give you a little challenge and actually put you on the spot?
You talking to me?
Yeah. Would you mind if we?
Okay.
Would you mind if we do that? Because being in this space since 2010, having coaches come and speak at our events, the Business Expo, Landed for Success, etc. There are some speakers that are real, and there's some speakers that are fake. And obviously, we know how well you've already documented yourself, and you just share with some of those numbers on your documentation. Right, a friend of mine said documentation beats conversation. So I want to put you to the test right now, okay? Because you were saying that you'll fly into a city, you're going to speak, you know numbers and so on. We have a group in Singapore right now.
Mm-hmm.
They've been working with coaches forever, the Tony Robbins, the Les Browns. I mean, you name it. Like, they're all into personal development and personal growth.
Gordon, I want to go to Singapore. Send me there.
So I'm going to put you to the task, and I want you to share with somebody right now who's watching, thinking, what if I could be in this position one day? Okay. And if I do get put in that position, what if Raza could give me the structure and the template? So right now, we actually have a group in Singapore. They have an event coming up in Malaysia. And again, remember, they're all into personal development and personal growth already. They're saying there's going to be 1,000 people in the room, and they want us to send someone from Land for Success to come and speak. So if you were given that opportunity right now, when I say this to, Mr. Raza Aziz, if you're watching, think about yourself in this situation as well. Okay. So it's about speaking and selling on stage. It's not about being hired as a motivational speaker or speaker to go and speak, get paid and speak. You're going to speak on stage. So this group, this is a real situation right now where somebody in Singapore is saying, come on in, there's going to be 1,000 people in this room.
Yeah. Now, and Gordon, would you like me to walk you through my train of thought?
Yeah, what would you do?
What
would you do? So as I'm watching this, I'm thinking, man, I want to do the same thing you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. So here's where it all starts. And by the way, that's why you want to have people like Gordon around you at all times, right? Because it's so important, Gordon. Because and I'm not this is not just flattery, because I'll tell you, I don't have a contact with anybody who is saying is like, we're going to put 1,000 people in a room and we need somebody to come and speak over that. I don't have those contact. And that is why for speakers, they always get stuck with this idea. It's like, well, I don't know where I'm going to speak. This is why you have opportunities like the opportunities that Landed for Success creates and other events create for you to connect with people, for you to become visible so that these kind of opportunities come by. And as a matter of fact, for those of you who are going to be, coming, and for those of you who are VIP, of course, we will sit down and have lunch together and we will talk more about this. How did this opportunity come by? Like this whole thing that we're doing at the Business Expo, Gordon and I, we were not even, we had known each other, but we were not in conversation until April of this year, right? So May, June, July, August, September. So in matter of 4 or 5 months, all of a sudden, Gordon and Jay, I mean, it's so amazing because they've given me an opportunity to do what I love doing and helping entrepreneurs use speaking, something that has helped me and at a bigger scale. So that whole thing happened from going out there, becoming visible to Jay, to Gordon, and they gave me an opportunity. And now Gordon's hinting at this opportunity over here. I'm all in, right? Now check this out. So as a speaker, once you know your numbers, this is how you start thinking about it, right? So it's like, okay, 1,000 people. Okay, Singapore. Oh, wow. This is one country I have not been to. And if my wife is hearing me upstairs, she's going to be like, I'm coming too. So Singapore, 1,000, I'm in Toronto. Okay. So all right.
Your wife will absolutely love Singapore. She will
fall in love with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so they're inviting me to speak. So what would I need? I would need hotel over there. And I would need, airfare. I'm not going to include my wife's airfare in there for now, but I'll just do that. So these are some of my expenses and maybe food, right? So all that stuff. So I'm starting to think about the business around this and how this is going to unfold. All right. So let's just say it's Singapore hotel. Let's just say it's $500 per night. Okay. Airfare is going to cost me, I don't know, $2,500. I haven't looked at it, right? I think it would be $2,500 return, maybe. I don't know. Food. I love to eat and I would love to try Singapore food. Let's just say I'm there for 4 or 5 days or something like that. So that would be, let's say $500 per day times, I don't even know what Singapore costs are, times 5. So 500, 2,500. Okay. So I'm looking at my expenses, and this is, let's say, 5,955, 2,500 over here. So it's almost costing me 5, 6, 7, 7,500 bucks. Okay. To go there and come back, and I haven't sold anything yet. Right now, I have to sort of look at this. I'm like, okay, so let's just say that they're saying that there's 1,000 people there. So what do the numbers look like? I know my front end offer may be, a $600 offer. Okay, $600 offer, front end offer at 1,000 people. If I've got 1,000 people in the room, speaking at that scale for about 60 minutes, and making an offer at the end for that crowd to take me up on the program that I'm talking about at $600, I'm going to say that at the low end, it should be 20%. So what is that? 1,000 times 20. So that's 200. 200 people pay $600 to work with me times 600. So that's 120K upfront. Okay. Now that's 120K. I could actually come back from Singapore and go back to Singapore, to go and deliver this workshop. So maybe I'll say, you know what, I would say to Gordon is like, Gordon, yeah, I want to go to Singapore, but what about, sorry, it's in Malaysia. What about Indonesia? Do you know anybody there? What about this? Because now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to capitalize around so that I can increase the number of people that can come to maybe my event or right, that kind of stuff. And then from here, if once I deliver on the $600 offer and people want to work closely with me and my team, and this is where I could potentially have a 5K or an 5K to 10K offer for those people who are serious. These are generally people who have established businesses and they want to streamline their processes. They're spending 8, 10, 12 hours in their business, and now they want to, it's like, Raza, can you work with me and customize my talk for my audience? Can you help me build a business around what is my front end offer, what is my back end offer, all those kind of things. So that's what they would pay. So let's just say we take low end from these 200 people. 5 to 10% should take me up on it, but let's just go with the lower number. 200 times that by 5%, that's 10 people that decide to pay me, let's say 5K, right? That's a low end. So that's another 50K right here. So now if I look at this, and again, I've tried to kind of keep the numbers at the lower side so that we don't kind of go exaggerate over here. So let's see what the numbers look like so far. So we generated about 120K at the front end, and we've got 50K at the back end. This totals about 170K. Okay, so let's just say that it cost me, let's say 30% of this is my expenses, right? So 170K times point, let's just say 40% is my expenses. So minus 68K, and that brings me to 102K. So Gordon, if you've got an opportunity for me to be in front of 1,000 people, this is equivalent to a 100K payday for me.
Wow. Is that amazing? And that opportunity is actually on the table right now.
Yeah.
So the group in Singapore has already reached out and said, can you send someone? And what's really neat is I know you have the numbers there. They're saying if you pay for usually you pay for all your expenses, as you know. Like Les Brown says, speaking on stage, you kill what you eat, right? It's your own expenses to get there. The person organizing the room have all the expenses, organize the room, and so on. But that can you imagine making $100,000? You get to visit Singapore, you get to visit Malaysia.
Yeah, and
your wife gets.
I didn't include my wife's expenses in here. I don't know. My payday might be a little lower.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is just like you just to give you an idea. And again, Gordon, like you said, you're going to put me on the spot. Hopefully, I lived up to it. You know, the idea is that you have to know your numbers, right?
Yes.
Your numbers might be a little bit different, but how are you going to find that out? You're only going to find that out. Remember, the first talk is never perfect.
Mm,
Well, even the fifth talk is never perfect, but you're continuously progressing. You're
yes.
continuously getting better. I've never spoken in Singapore before. Maybe that audience converts a lot higher than I expect, or maybe lower than what I expect, right?
Yes.
So those are the variables that you work with. Believe me, when I've had opportunity to travel and somebody says like, oh yeah, we're going to have like 500 people at this event. When I show up, there's like 100 people in the audience, right?
Wow.
Am I like, oh no, you told me 500, I'm leaving? No, man, there are 100 souls over there. People who
Yes.
want my
Yes.
help. Like I show up for them. So
Yeah.
a lot of times it's been rough. Like, sometimes you're doing a 2.5 day event, and by from the first day till the second day, 50% of the people dropped. You're like, what did I do? Right?
Mm, mm,
What did I say in my talk that didn't land right, and all of that stuff. So there are constantly things that you can adjust, and you continuously learn. This is why I love having mentors and guides around me, because they can see things that I'm not
yes.
able to see,
Yes. Yeah.
right? And they can offer perspectives and guidance on things. And believe me, without those notes and without those guidances, I would not be here. And I still need those people, because I'm continuously improving and continuously looking for opportunities to grow, because this is not it, right? There's
Wow.
always a next level.
Love it. Well, thank you so much. Our hour is coming up. I want to thank everyone who've been here watching. If making money speaking is not for you, we want to thank you for being here. And for those of you who are thinking, "Wow, I can travel the world, take my family on vacations to places like Thailand and Singapore and Jamaica and Nigeria and speak," and actually get paid for it. If that's something that's of interest to you, please come and join us this Saturday in Toronto. I mean, fly into Toronto, you guys. Raza, you just shown, some people say, well, $7,500. That's too expensive. But you look at it as an investment, which is what I love, and you turn that investment into 100K. You do
Yeah.
that 10 times a year. That's over $1 million a year. So if anybody
Yeah.
wants to be a 6+ figure speaker, please come and join us this Saturday. And if you or just reach out to Raza and have a conversation with them. Raza, any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
Listen, I would love to see you if you're coming to the business expo. I'd love to see you. Let's sit down, let's chit chat, let's exchange stories. Let's learn about you. You learn about me, and we'll see where we go. And if speaking is something that makes sense for you and your business, and if you can't make sense of it by yourself, come talk to me, and we'll definitely expand on that, and we'll see what magic we can create together. Listen, the world has changed. I've said this so many times on this podcast. The world has changed, and you want to start looking at doing things differently. I'm continuously exploring, continuously tweaking, continuously pushing the envelope, because I know the day I get comfortable is my demise. And the world is changing faster than ever. It changed in 2020, it changed in 2022 again, it will change again. Believe me, it is changing at a faster pace. And for those people who are still trying to do things the way we used to do things back in 2015, um, I invite you to look at things differently. It doesn't matter what profession you're in. So that's my invitation to you. And for those of you who are not coming at the Business Expo, hey, listen, just hit up Gordon, hit me up. Let's chit chat and see if there's a way for me to help you out. I'll definitely do that. And if I can't, I will let you know I can't.
Wow.
Back to you, Gordon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing with us the numbers. I'm excited. I'm ready. I'll be in the front room taking notes from you. Love to be able to speak in front of a group and just turn on the tap and it's like what you just shared with us today is just how to go out there and make money whenever you need money. Just find an audience. And if you don't know how to find an audience, find somebody like myself who can build an audience and put you in front of an audience. But all you need
and
to
it
do
all
is
starts. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'll start.
It all starts with that talk.
Yes.
It all starts with that talk, crafting it, delivering it, crafting it, delivering it. And once you've done it, guess what? Somebody could call you up. It's like, hey, I've got a room for tomorrow. Can you come?
Yeah. Amazing.
I'll
and
show
that's
up,
what
right?
and that's what you're teaching on Saturday. So thank you so much. Awesome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And until the next time, have an amazing, amazing day.